Hello and welcome back to another digital comic video. Sorry for the lack of gameplay in this one as I go over more lore for NYZ. The recording software and the games kinda ate up everything and I couldn't do that. So you're getting a black screen instead. Fantastic. Anyways, so you want to survive in this shithole of a world that's come to pass? Good, you're more optimistic and hopeful than most. But if you are to survive here, you're going to need to know the classification system for these infected forms, as each one has their own classification, ranging from basic, being, well, basic, to Titan, which are massive, titanic bioforms of mass destruction. We'll get into that a little bit later, but to start off with the basics, they're your most common, most basic, run-of-the-mill. You've got your walkers, which are the most numerous and common of the basics. Then you got a spinner, which is that spiner, I think. It has two ends. Not exactly the friendliest of the basics. It has a mutated tongue that can allow for much mobility, but they also don't have that much in terms of durability, so filling them with lead is not exactly a bad idea. You've got the lashers, which are sharp, which have sharp claws. They have sharp, like lobster claw for hands, and a little bit of armor, and they have razor sharp teeth, and they're an eldritch looking nightmare thing. But if you fill them full of lead, they won't go down easy, but they will still go down if you fill them full of lead. There's also the stabber, which is a giant spider thing. I hope you don't have arachnophobia. This thing is also armored and has sharp limbs, but if you get their limbs stuck, it takes them a while to get it out, so you can get damage in. We also now have a basic flyer, which just spits acid, but if you shoot its wings, it ain't gonna fly if it has holes in the wings. For advanced, we have brutes, which have big old Hulk hammer fists that just ruin your day and just really hurt. They're the virus's answer to tanks. We have then swarm broods, which are another advanced form that are basically just giant congealed mass of like 3 different forms that have legs attached as multiple forms of weaponry, and it's not going to be fun. We have Bane Lords, which are beefy armor. I recommend armor-piercing rounds if you want to take them out. They also have vicious blades on their hands, which would not be fun to fight. We have Dreadnoughts. Now this is the advanced category, so Brood, Swarm Brood, and Banelord are in the advanced category. We have Dreadnought, we're up to Dreadnoughts, and these are heavily armored biological versions of tanks. And they also can hit hard. They're a little bit rarer than everything else, but they're still a threat, and they can also toss cars and other forms of debris at you. So be wary when chunks of the road or nearby buildings start flying at your face. We have the splicers now. No, not the ones from Bioshock. These ones are a lot more vicious and murderous and have giant blade arms that can cut you in half. We now have a flamethrower. Well, it's currently called the flamethrower, but it's a new infected form that has a 25% chance of spawning when you burn a basic form to death, and it also can spit out fireballs up to 100 degrees, and these things are not fun. We then have Giant Infected, which hasn't been updated in a while. But we have behemoths, which are lumbering masses of flesh that can just take a frickin' beating and just... They're basically siege monsters. We then have Goliaths, which are giant pillars of strength and can pull redwoods and tear down buildings quite easily. We then have shadow spiders. These guys live in the cold and just lay under giant snow piles and try and ambush you. Not fun. We then have Colossal, which hasn't been updated either. I need to get on that. We have the Gore Ragon, which is a brutal monstrosity to take on whatever it needs to. It has armor and has known to not take nukes really well, but it has armor, and if you don't have something to pierce the very thick armor it has, it's going to ruin you. And then we have Gore Beasts, which are massive biomass mountains, but they don't have the armor that the Raygon does. And, well, due to that, setting them alight isn't quite a bad idea. Because surprisingly, rotting flesh tends to burn. I mean, these guys aren't rotted, they're more infected, but still, the point stands. Giant thing of flesh is flammable. Flesh burns. Giant fuel for a giant flame. If you can catch them. Alight. And now we're up to the Titans. There's only 2 currently, because I've yet to update and add more, but more will be added. We have the Hive Lord. Well, here's what Titans are. Warning, extreme bioform detected. Engage with extreme caution. Titan forms are the biggest form around. Their awakening changes the virus, allowing for altered forms and new forms to appear for Colossal and lower. The class before Titan was Colossal, requiring multiple powerful evolved, we'll get to evolved later, to even stand somewhat of a chance. These species also boost infected globally, but the closer to the Titan, the stronger the bonus. And now we're on to the Hive Lord. This Titan is a mobile hive that spawns armored infected in it. From it, it's the smallest and weakest of the Titans, but can overwhelm and produce thousands. We also now have the Juggernaut, which is a armored Titan behemoth that towers overall, enhancing armor of all infected upon its defeat, enhancing all armor of infected. And then we go on to what it gives to evolved when it dies. But that's been the classifications of the various infected. I hope that this has somewhat helped you survive the wastes out there. Until then, this is Digital Homics signing off.